postseason, second consecutive year. And now David West on fire.
Nelson all the way to the rack. Look out here.
Ranger, he is stone cold money.
Look at Anderson. He is a man on a mission.
It's Orlando and Indiana, the 3-6 matchup in the first round. The Magic won 3 of 4 regular season games, but bear in mind, all those games included Dwight Howard. Without him, all eyes will be on Indiana's All-Star center, Roy Hibbert.
You know, everybody keeps asking me that. I'm just going to play my game, block shots, rebound, try to score in the paint, and run the floor better than I did during the year. So, you know, I'm just going to go out there and play aggressive from the start and do what I do and take it up another couple of notches because it's playoff time.
Indiana Pacers made the jump from the 8th seed last season all the way up to 3rd with their best winning percentage since the 03-04 season. And Hibbert, he helped a bunch, 15.5 points per game, 10.5 rebounds a game, both career highs for the All-Star. And they improved the bench with the trade for Leandro Barbosa, who came over from the Raptors. They also finished strong, 12-3 down the stretch. And it's easy to look at this Indiana team and think, well, okay, they're good, but how good are they?
You know, I like them. I got to give Frank Vogel and Brian Shaw, that coaching staff, a lot of credit. You know, when you have a lot of young guys and you play 10 or 11 of them, you usually have some guys bickering and talking about playing time. I haven't heard that. They come out, and I keep going down their roster, Sam. Every guy plays extremely hard, and that's what I love about them. And I think without a Dwight Howard, without a dominant center in the East, you know, they have a chance. I mean, they're young, and I think they're lacking some areas as far as shooting a three-pointer, but they get to the free throw line because guys put their head down. I love how they rotate all the bigs. So I think it's going to be a very, very tough matchup without Dwight Howard. I think what Orlando Magic has to do is find another way to have somebody create a double, and I think that's going to be Turkoglu. He has to beat guys off the dribble. He has to be magnificent to create some open jump shot because they live by the three, and without Dwight, they will not be getting open three-point shots.
You heard Roy Hibbert saying that everyone's asking him about his role in the series with Dwight Howard not out there to face him. How dominant can he be without a Howard facing?
Well, when you look at Roy and you look at where he's come from, I mean, it's an amazing thing to watch him play. He can flat out score the basketball on the post. Now, he does it slow, he does it methodical, but he's a lot stronger than what he looks. And when he catches the ball deep, the thing I like about Roy Hibbert, he gets his position first. Then he makes his move. He's got to be aggressive in this series. Like Steve said, Orlando has no one that can match up with him. The thing about Indiana, they can shoot the basketball, too. They can shoot the three. So you got to force Orlando to double down. Roy Hibbert make the easy pass out, swing, get wide open threes in the corner, or make passes to those guys cutting to the basket. When you look at this series, Indiana, on paper, hit the jackpot. Orlando decimated. I mean, you look at without Dwight Howard,
right.
He was the focal point of everything they did on offense and defense. If I'm Indiana, I'm getting up on those guys that shoot threes. I'm making them drive. I'm sending them to Roy Hibbert. Make those guys try to finish because those guys are not drivers. They don't want to finish over big guys. And they're not used to driving and kicking to the open guy. They're used to being the one to receive those passes coming out of the double teams and post from Dwight Howard. So Indiana has a chance to get through this first round unscathed and then sit there and have a chance to be rested and wait for the winner of the next series.
I think the only thing, Matt, they can't do as the Pacers young guys is overlook this Orlando Magic team. Overlook this series because without Dwight Howard. Other than that, they should go in and win this series because their size, their depth, and like Sam said, the Orlando Magic has had a whole bunch of problems. Without Dwight, offensively and defensively, it's going to be a big struggle. You
mentioned the shooters Indiana has. Lots of guys who can shoot the basketball. David West is one of those guys. New to the team this year. He has some playoff experience. How valuable will he be in this series and whatever else they face this
he's coming off that injury when he signed with the Pacers, and I think he had a slow start. But they were able to bring him along slow because of the depth they had up front. But you can see right now he is starting to get a little bit more mobile, and when he catches his basketball right here, that's good. And that's the one thing, it's hard to guard David West. But if he gets any advantage or gets any small underneath, he will pound you. And then they don't need him to play 40 minutes because they come in with waves of big guys. I think he's going to be key in this series and further for the Indiana Pacers because of that experience David West has.
Well, let's be honest. You mentioned the Magic and the Howard situation. If you put hooked everybody up to a lie detector test, this is the team in the Eastern Conference that everybody wanted to face because Dwight Howard is not going to play because the drama that preceded his injury things crumbling around this team. Orlando has been a mess down the stretch, for certain. There was the Dwight Howard situation, of course, asked for a trade, then kind of waffled on that. Eventually, it was reported by his own coach that he'd asked for a trade. Ryan Anderson had a terrific season for Orlando, one of the better improvements of the year. Howard eventually out for with back surgery and done for the season. What is their best chance at winning some games or winning the series?
Man, they're going to have to be a team. They're going to have to do something that they're not known for, those other guys. They're going to have to play unbelievable defense. They're going to have to trap in the post because you got two, not just one guy. Like Smith said, you got David West, you're going to have to trap also. They're going to have to trap. They're going to have to be precise on their rotations. And then they're going to have to, somebody's going to have to create shots for other people. Jason Richardson was brought in to be that creator. Now, he hasn't done that because when you put Dwight Howard on that block, it's really nowhere to go. Jason Richardson is going to have to take his game back to the level of when he played at Golden State. He's going to have to be the guy to try to get 25 a night. And the thing about it, their pick and roll offense, which is what they relied on with Dwight Howard, you can run it with Glenn Davis, but I'm not going to pay as much attention to Glenn Davis rolling down the post as I did with Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard sucked everybody in when he rolled. You don't have to do that now.
That's more of a pick and pop, and he's not going to dunk on three of your guys.
Exactly. And even if he gets deep, he's rolling down to Roy Hibbert, where his size can deter him shooting over. Orlando is going to have to shoot the ball incredibly well, and they're going to have to try to drive and kick, kind of like John Calipari, offense at Kentucky. Drive and kick and try to find open guy and keep moving to create some shots because they don't have a guy to throw it to on the post. They don't really have a pick and roll game anymore. They're going to have to run some type of passing game. And then guys like Jason Richardson, Jameer Nelson, Ryan Anderson, those guys, Turk Lou, those guys are going to have to play above and beyond what they normally have.
Stan Van Gundy has basically said and tried to get this message to his team down the stretch. Look, these are the guys I'm playing with. This is what we're going to have from here on out. What can he do from inside that locker room to make the Magic believe they can win this?
You know, I think being a coach right now, he has to go in and use the media as his motivator. No one's giving us a chance, and I think he has to drill this. I think
time-honored strategy.
He has to.
Us against the world.
Us against the world, Matt. And I think, you know what? They have to do what they do. They can't change right now. They have to make threes. However they take threes, they have to make shots, and I think they have to, you know, let it fly. They have to be loose. But I like Sam said is they might have to even play Ryan Anderson at the 5 and double the team, the post, scramble, and try to make it an ugly game, up and down, frantic game, knock down threes, and all the smalls going to have to chip in and rebound the basketball to beat the Pacers.
But the scary thing about that, you can play David West at the 5. Now Ryan Anderson got to go. So,
but you got to try to make
Indiana is so athletic and long.
They're deep. Very deep.
And they're deep. And when you look at, and I love Stan, and he's in a tough situation, but I don't really, he can try a lot of things. I would just throw the kitchen sink at him. But at the end of the day, you win with talent. And right now, Indiana just got so much more talent without Dwight Howard being in there for Orlando. I just don't, maybe they can win a game. I don't think 2, but maybe. But I can't, this would be a major, major upset if Orlando can beat Indiana in this series, then I don't care what's said. You got to consider, Stan should keep his job. I don't care because he's going to have to pull a rabbit out of 2 or 3 different hats and some other places too.
But Sam, don't you think, I know all games are key, but don't you think he really has to focus on the Magic? We got to get in there and get game 1.
Oh, it's got to be us against the world. Yeah, he's got to go in there and try to, he's got to throw everything at Indiana to hopefully shock them. But the thing that's scary about Indiana, like Memphis last year, they're young and everybody say experience. Memphis didn't have any experience.
Right.
So sometimes not knowing what you don't know as far as the playoff experience.
They got a little bit last year, though, against Chicago.
Yeah, but not when they were expected to win. They're expected to win now. See, it's a different kind of pressure when you are expected.
But I like Frank Vogel.
They're expected to win big.
I like Frank Vogel.
I like the basketball team. And then you got Larry Bird, who put all this together.
Right. Orlando, of course, is not so far removed from an NBA Finals, and a lot of those parts are still hanging around the roster. Jameer Nelson was part of that run. He had the shoulder injury that year, but part of that run as well. What can he do for the Magic in this series to give them a shot?
Create threes. I mean, beat guys off the dribble, defensively, really play head-nose, and I think win his matchup, whether it's against George Hill, whether it's against Darren Collison, and not win his matchup as far as just scoring the basketball. I think running his team, create offense for others, and being that leader. And it's going to come down to him knocking down shots You know, and I think for Jameer, once you come off the pick and roll, get into the lane and make the right pass and hopefully keep guys positive. As that point guard, you got to keep making them believe we can win. You got to keep chirping the guys, we can win this, we can win this. Being that positive vocal leader at that point guard position.
Your speech for Jameer sounds a whole lot more optimistic than what I'm hearing from the two of you.
No, I have the Pacers. I have the Pacers winning this series. But, hey, you know, if I'm the Magic, I'm going and staying. I'm saying it's us against the world.
That's it.
That's the chance they have.
It's another Saturday start. The Magic and Pacers from Indianapolis, 7 Eastern time on ESPN.